I have joined me live on the news to discuss this issue, a historian and spokesperson for Likambo Yamabele in DR Congo, Benedict Kumbi Ndoko. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at this time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there seems to be a continuous blame game between Rwanda and DRC. What do you think is responsible for this?
Well, I think that what we see today, and I think that I participated for a long time now, talking about this issue on Congo and repeating always the same thing, is that what we see today is just an episode of ongoing war that is taking place in DRC since 26 years now. And it is not about, I think, blaming one or another party. The fact is that Rwanda has been aggressing Congo since 1996. And the international community think it fair not to talk about it. They talk about militias that are supported by foreign countries, but they have great difficulties naming Rwanda for the aggression. And as per Bunagana, it is a joint force of Rwanda and Uganda that is attacking Congo.
Now, Benedict, how has Rwanda responded to these accusations? What exactly are their claims?
Rwanda always used the same claim, meaning that it defended itself against the FDLR, meaning the population of Rwanda that fled after the genocide and were in Congo, and that were fighting Rwanda. But themselves, some years ago, said that they defeated them completely. So it is always used in order really to enter Congo because they have expansionist view. And nobody wants really to tackle that problem and address it. The idea for Rwanda is really Rwanda acts as a middleman between that part of Africa and all the multinational that are Western multinational, because for them it's easier to buy something that has been stolen from Congo because it will be cheaper than really try to work with Congo together. And that's why we have all this situation happening, and that's why we have all those silences from the international community. So what we have here is nothing new, but the only thing that really also remains is the fact that nobody wants really to blame Rwanda for that, because they're going to use the excuse of a genocide in order to silence people.
Now, these fightings have led to the displacement of many people. Now, what exactly is the humanitarian situation right now between these two border towns of Rwanda and DR Congo?
But the humanitarian crisis in Congo, as I said before, is ongoing. So this is just a new stage. Now people have fled the place, and they are out without any help for the moment, even though the government of DRC is helping that population, because we also have a silence of the government of DRC as well. You talked about the fact that this was the military speaking, and this also speaks a volume about the complicity of the government in DRC. So they are not helping people. People are out fleeing, and they will certainly find themselves in the forest as usual until maybe some people will try to help them, or maybe the UN will install some camps around maybe Goma in order to welcome all those people.
Now, as you clearly have stated, lives have been lost, people have been displaced, families have been separated. Do you see both countries coming together to end this conflict? Because earlier on, you mentioned the fact that international organizations have been silent at this. So what's the way forward?
But I think that it is now time for the international community, if we can call them that way, because it's a little bit easier to call them that way, because it's not a monolith. But I would say that Western powers in particular, would it be the US, the UK, Belgium, France, Canada, I mean, they should take the courage really to really dissociate from Paul Kagame and really tell about what he is, meaning one of the worst criminals alive today in Africa. So this should be said, and the African Union as well. I mean, it's not understandable that this conflict has been going on since 25 years now. and that African countries keep silent, keep silent. I want to say that we have more than 6 million Congolese who have died. We saw some African people supporting Ukrainians, saying that they were supporting them because of a humanitarian crisis that was happening to these people. But how come African people keep silent on what is going on in Congo when more than 6 million people have died, when more than 1 million of women have been raped, and that rape has been used as a weapon of war? I really cannot fathom that. I really, sometimes I really wonder, I mean, what is the use in a certain way of being African and talk about that solidarity that we should have when I see those silence going on, and it's not just acceptable. It's not acceptable because half of the victims of that war are children under 5 years old. So it should really ring a bell somewhere, and we should see. Even I mean, personally, I don't wait for the Western countries even to say something, but I wait for Africans to talk about this tragedy.
Thank you so much. A whole lot needs to be done. Thank you, Benedict, for shedding so much light on this issue.
Thank you very much.